Okay, everybody, hi, and welcome to Shop Talk. We're letting the countdown clock run out here a little bit so we can get our audience built up. I want to welcome everybody in from Choppertown, from the great Choppertown Network and the Cycle Source Network here with us tonight. Looking forward to this one, man. It's going to be a great show. It's been a hell of a week. We've had one fantastic show after another with the Sturgis Live broadcast, and Cyber Swap Meet was crazy today. Appreciate you guys being here with us, spending some time on Sunday night. It's going to be great. Grab a cold beer, sit back, get ready. We're going into the garage. Just under the 2-minute mark, and man, you guys are piling in tonight. So good to see all you. Mike Draco, Tim Kearns in the house, Pat Jansen's here, Rob Nussbaum, Doc Harper. Man, our whole crew is here. Doc Holliday's here, and he'll be your Hucklebear. Stick around, man. We got a great Shop Talk coming up for you. Just about a minute and a half. We're going live with this one. Okay, looks like we're just about 30 seconds out. It's time to pull this one out of the station. Get Shop Talk started. Welcome to Sunday night. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's just 1 minute before 9 p.m. on Sunday evening here on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. I'm your host, Chris Callan, coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk studio, 50 floors below the street level here at Cycle Source Magazine headquarters. And joined by my crew, as always. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing this week?
Hey.
Hey.
Everything's going wonderful. How about you?
It is fantastic.
Happy
I'm
people.
here and you're there.
Well, and you know, the sun is shining. People are riding motorcycles again. The swap meets today on Sunday morning swap meet.
Great.
We actually had a live remote come in, which was awesome, seeing real live in the flesh swap meet action going on. So good day.
I know. I took a spin through Weirs Beach today, which, if everybody remembers, it's supposed to be Laconia Bike Week right now.
Yeah, normally we're on the little island right now, aren't we?
Yeah, normally we're on Cycle Source Island, and it was kind of sad. It was it was very sad. You know, our home base for the past couple of years is completely empty and barren. It was wonderful to see the Broken Spoke up and running, and they had a great crowd there today.
Did they really?
It was going, but you know, Weirs Boulevard for what should be the 97th anniversary was sad.
What a shame. What a shame.
I know.
And you know, they've rescheduled that thing for just a week after Sturgis, and man, we're all kind of holding our breath because it's going to be
I'm not going to lie. I mean, Laconia, I love Laconia. It's my home rally. I lived there for 20 years. It's year 97, and I'm worried that a lot of the vendors and the people that usually do business there are going to have a really hard time getting there. So, I mean, I wish them nothing but the best, but we'll see what happens.
We'll do what we can from here, and you know, I know the locals are feverish about supporting that event, so I think they'll be okay.
I think so. I think they'll overcome. You know, hopefully Rona doesn't rear her ugly head again, and the world continues on.
All right, so listen, man, I want to thank you guys for being here with us tonight. As I said, I'm Chris from Cycle Source Magazine. I'm your host tonight. This is Shop Talk. If this is your first time coming in, this is a program we do every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a little bit of news, a little bit of information, some entertainment. We have a guest or two on and get into some talk. But we don't want you to just sit and listen to us. If you look, the box up to my side there is running. We're looking for your comments, questions, concerns. We'll pass them on throughout the show as we have our opportunity. But first off, real quick, Blondie, we're just going to shoot it over to you and say hi to some folks on social media.
Right on. We've got a lot of people in here tonight. We've got Bug Killer. Hey, Bug Killer, how you doing? I saw Lance Baxter in our house. He's one of our regulars. Dennis Stauber is here. I can't pronounce that person's name, but I'm guessing they're from somewhere in Europe, in one of the Swedish type areas based on the language they're speaking.
Way to handle that one, Blondie. Way to handle.
Kearney, Nebraska.
Jeez. Right on. You know, that's the thing that blows my mind all the time about this new form of media is every time we come on here, where you guys are from, make sure you put
it's amazing
where you're from because it blows our mind. It's so fantastic that you see that the social media spreads throughout United States right away and then quickly to all parts of the world. And, again, big thanks to Choppertown for helping us get it out there like that. It's fantastic.
It's just so cool. You can get the people from Europe and, Christ, we've had people from Australia. Kiwi Mike, we did a whole thing with Kiwi.
While he's quote unquote
quarantined,
quote unquote stuck in Australia. He sounds like he's having a real bad time down there.
Yeah, I don't think he's stuck anymore. I think the Aussies turned him.
Right on. So listen, man, we're gonna break from our normal tradition, which normally we start off with the news and we go through the top headlines. Because we have an extra special show tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Like 3 fantastic guests, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are here because it's blowing up in the social media side. Maui in the house, Kentucky, Camp Hill. I'm sure you watched the promos and know that our first guest up tonight is quite a treat for us as motorcycle people.
Yeah.
As motorcycle people, I've been to this cat's place, just talking to him a little bit in pre-show, like his volume of information is just going to be some really exciting talk. And I'm going to bring him on first. We're just going to get right into it. So you guys will know him best probably from his hosting The Tonight Show. He's been the ambassador of Love Ride. He's a lifetime motorcyclist, lifetime garage nut. Please help me welcome to the show, Mr. Jay Leno.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Jay, how are you?
Good.
Look, he's already laying down. He's here 2 minutes. He's laying down on the show. It's
I'm
great.
laying down on the job. I'm in front of my. I thought you might get a kick out of this. I know we're talking British before, but figuring I know you guys are Harley guys and like the American stuff. And the American stuff is so underrated. All the European stuff always gets all the credit, but the American stuff is really the long distance motorcycles.
Right.
Like the Ace. This is a 1924 Ace. This is about the fastest bike you could get in the 20s. It won 100. Let's see. Well, it says right on the wall up there. What speed did it go? 134 miles an hour, something like that. Yeah. In 1924.
Yeah,
I mean, you weren't going to
that's
stop
serious.
anytime soon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic motorcycle. The Ace was. The Henderson brothers liked racing motorcycles, and Schwinn, who bought them out, wanted touring bikes and that type of thing, or lightweight bikes. And so they sold out to Schwinn, sold the Henderson name, and they started Ace. And they were wonderful engineers, but they were terrible businessmen. And the Ace was very expensive. It was $100 more than a Model T, and not nearly as practical, obviously. But what a legendary bike. Lightweight, really cool. And being a 4-cylinder, it starts right on the button. It's so funny. Whenever I talk to old bike guys, they can rebuild engines. They get everything looking perfect. And they have a hard time starting them. They always complain about the magnetos. And I always say, just get yourself a good magneto guy. Because a good magneto is even better than a battery and coil because it'll start all the time.
Yeah.
Now, this has been sitting for about a month. How many kicks you think it'll take to start? Guys, take a guess. What do you think?
In your garage, I'm going to say 1.
Yeah, in your garage, I would have to be with Heather because we have some of the inside information there. But the typical motorcycle of this time period, I would imagine it would be 4 or 5 anyway, just to get it warmed up to the idea of starting.
Well, it's not really, because if you have, what's so funny? Mags lose magnetism at about 2% a year, 3% a year. So when you first get them, it's 1 or 2 kicks, and then it's 10, and then you go, what's wrong with this thing? It's not putting out enough spark. But if you get a good, let's try it and see here. Can you guys? Just knocked it over. Hang on. Leaned against it. Hang on. No damage.
So this is
what's great about live television, guys.
See, it even happens in your garage, though, so it's not just here.
Put up on the stand.
So it's not just in our garage,
Right.
Luckily, it fell on me.
But the question is, are you okay?
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, let me move this. So do we get how many kicks you think, guys?
I'm saying 4.
We're going 1.
I'm saying 4.
Wait, what do we get if we win? Is there like a consolation prize?
Turn it on. Pull out the choke or the enricher.
There it goes.
That had never happened in our house.
Oh my God, no.
We'd be looking for a hill at this point.
The Ace.
That is beautiful. That is just beautiful.
And it sounds like a gem.
Wow.
Right on.
Listen to that.
Yeah, buddy. So for
What
you,
a beautiful machine.
Well, you kind of get the idea.
oh my God, that was fantastic. That was
Well, as you can
fantastic.
see, it started right. I mean, that really is sitting about a month. But when you have a good mag, boy, they'll start like boom, like nothing. Well, come on, I'll take you around the garage. Let me turn this camera around.
Absolutely. So Jay, while you're doing that, just real quick, I want to mention that in pre-show we talked about this a little bit, that when Kiwi Mike was bringing us in from Australia, we got a little bit of an education about the Ace and the evolution of all of that, and it's a really, really fascinating story for a lot of guys. I'm not sure a bunch of, especially the younger guys, know.
Okay, this is we call this the Brough Room because we keep all the Brough Superiors in here. As you can see, my favorite Brough quote up there on the wall. It says, "Skittish motorbike with a touch of blood in it is better than all the riding animals on earth." That was what T.E. Lawrence wrote about the Brough Superior.
Wow.
Let me show you the oldest Brough in the world, the very first Brough Superior. This is it right here. This is called the 90 bore. Let's see, have I got a...
Look at that tank. That's amazing.
You know, and this was the great thing that I said from the onset of this. When Mike took me there, it was such a treat, because if you run into one of these motorcycles, it's an amazing day. Right. And to walk in there and see that line of these bikes, you could literally see the evolution of the motorcycle through their models.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's fun is we've hand painted all these. We took original ads, hand painted them. We didn't blow up prints. We hand painted all of these. Let me show you the 90 bore. You'll love the front brake. If you've got a bicycle, that might look very familiar to you. Hang on a sec. I'm the worst cameraman in the world here. Let's see.
No
Can you see the brakes?
Way.
Dude, that's fantastic. So what's the chances of them staying on there the first time you have to hammer that front brake?
You don't hammer that front brake. You don't stop these bikes. You retard progress.
Wow. And see, that's what I'm saying about the evolution of the motorcycle. They were literally figuring out how to make a bicycle into a motorcycle.
Yeah, well, like you were saying before, comparably, they had bicycles, and these were the first steps after them. So I'm sure they tried utilizing all of the, mechanical.
I'll show you the one I consider to be the sort of ultimate Brough Superior. This is called a Dine Alpine Grand Sport. This was guaranteed to do 110 miles an hour in 1925.
Wow.
This one's in 1927. If you can get a shot of it there. Can you see it? Is that okay?
Beautiful.
Perfect.
I think it's one of the most beautiful motorcycles ever made.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
The tanks are amazing.
And George Brough really had an eye. I want to show you something else on a lightweight racer. This is an SS100. Now, look at the exhaust system. See the black?
Yeah.
That looks like something that would be done now.
Yeah,
but that was done in 1925.
Right.
Almost like a carbon fiber piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it. And to this day, I still think it's the most beautiful gas tank in motorcycling.
Oh, yeah. It's like keep saying those gas tanks are fabulous.
Bridgestone tried to copy it with the 350, the two-stroke back in the 60s. But this one, it's really made up of 12 different pieces all soldered together. It's an extremely complex piece to do.
So they were obviously way ahead of their time. Or he, rather.
Well, they weren't ahead of their time, I don't think, so much as, it was kind of like, call them the Rolls Royce of motorcycles. That would, he was a bit of a P.T. Barnum type of guy, George Brough. And it was a case of engineering excellence over design, because the engines were fairly traditional overhead valve, 50 to 55 horsepower, which was a lot, but they didn't stop. They handled very well. The front forks are Harley. They called them Castle. They just copied the Harley Davidson front forks. He was not afraid to take from the best, which is what they did. There's a lot of myths about these bikes, and as much as I love them, I have to kind of go give credit where credit is due. That Harley front end was great, but it couldn't stop the bike. And they were just extremely well put together. It's like every one of them was blueprinted.
Yeah.
So they would, always run and start. Let me show you a really cool one over here.
Do you know what the value of them they were back then?
About the same as a small house in England. They were quite expensive. This is the predecessor to the overhead, but this is the 4-cam SS80. This does not have the overhead valves, but it's really fast. And this also predates the twist grip throttle. Here's your throttle here. This one here is gas, and this one is air. So as you're going down the road, trying to avoid potholes and people jumping out in front of you on horses, you have to sort of move the air and the hand throttle. There's no twist grip. You sort of do this and put the air where you want it, and then give it gas, and then move the air. Hilarious.
A constant adjustment.
Well, you literally had to be part engineer to ride a motorcycle back then.
And it has, have you guys ever seen one of these? This is called a Bonnickson speedometer.
No.
Okay. Now, the way that works is, motorcycle speedometers were not very accurate because the needles are just bouncing all over the place between the vibrations and whatnot. So Bonnickson was a watchmaker. And the way this works is it's the shorthand, the one that's on the 10, that's it, they both start at 0. Then you go down the road, and that one goes to 5 and stays there. And then the other hand goes to 2. Okay. Oh, I'm going 52. And then it goes tick, 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 and they both go back to 0. Then you give it some more gas. Tick, 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 goes to 6.
It's a thought they counted.
5. Oh, I'm doing 65. So, and then you're so fascinated by looking at the speedometer.
You hit a horse.
That's basically the way it happened. But they're real watchmaker speedometers. The quality of them is really neat. It's really interesting. What else do we have? This one here is called the Petrol tube Sidecar. The idea behind this was, you see that tube that goes up and over the sidecar?
Yeah.
Well, you put about 2.5 to 3 gallons of gas in there, and then you hand pump right here with your bicycle pump. You hand pump that. You put about 2 pounds of pressure in it, and then when you open the valve, it'll send the gas into the gas tank, so you don't have to stop on a trip. You're just carrying extra fuel.
Well, and I know, like you said too, of Brough Superior, that they were the Rolls Royce, but this was really something, wasn't it, indicative of all motorcycle companies of the day were looking for that little edge, that that extra fancy thing that set them above the other bikes.
This one was a land speed bike. It's called the Silver Dream Racer. Quite fast. These bikes are really fast. The one I drive mostly is this 1927 SS100 over here.
That's what we had a question. Which was your favorite?
Well, this one is probably my favorite because I've had it almost 40 years. And when you do the mag properly, it's such a joy because it just starts all the time.
Yeah.
Should I try and kickstart this one?
Oh,
yes.
You want to see if it does it? Let's see. Let me see if I can how I can do this so you get a view of what's going on. Is that showing the bike? Let me see.
Yep, that's perfect.
Okay, let's see. All right. It's not warm. As you can see, I'm grabbing the exhaust pipes. Not hot. The trick to these is open fuel.
Okay, Chris
Turn
Summers.
on oil.
Chris Summer Simmons says 2 kicks.
Push it through once. Let's get some gasoline. Cylinder. Don't want to flood it. Let's see what happens.
Two kicks.
Yeah.
She got it.
Incredible.
Fantastic.
And again, amazing that they all run, and he keeps all this stuff so well maintained.
Look at that.
You look at the
The valves. That's
I don't want to
cool.
say rocker boxes and sound dumb, but it almost puts you.
As you can see, it started right up.
Yeah.
Oh. So Chris Simmons won the bet on that one. She called 2 kicks right off.
Well, the real difference between old bikes and new bikes is when they're hard to start, man, it's such a pain. It's just so annoying. But when you have a good mag, or you find yourself a good mag guy, and you can just kick it, 1 kick, 2 kicks, and you're off and running. And that really makes it really, really enjoyable.
Well, it makes the experience way more enjoyable too.
Yeah, there are, Brough didn't always make. Well, here's one. Let me show you this one here. This is an 1150. This was sort of the workhorse of the Brough fleet. Big flathead, 1150 cc's. This was the sidecar puller. Well, same one here. Same one there is over there. Same one they have on the. There it is, pulling the sidecar.
And what year is that?
What year? 34. It's interesting because as George Brough got older, as you can see, the seats got wider and fatter. He got more into comfort. He was a racer as a young man, but then he had a number of accidents and hurt himself. So the bikes became more comfortable. The later SS100s, like, let me find one. Here you go. This one is a 1939. This has the matchless motor. The early ones were all total loss lubrication.
Yeah.
This one has a modern style circulating oil pump with a tank in it. And it's about between 50 and 55 horsepower, which is a lot. Don't forget these bikes still weigh under 400 pounds, even though they look pretty hefty, but they're fairly lightweight. And on the walls, you can see some of the rough things we've recreated.
And that really makes that whole room too. I mean, because it just takes you right there.
Yeah, these are all the ads of the period, as you can see. And it was fun hand painting. Here's one with Lawrence of Arabia, Colonel Lawrence.
Oh, wow.
The uncrowned king of Arabia,
Yeah.
George Brough was nothing if not a showman. And then we've got some famous Brough paintings up here, and there's the one with the SS100, and so give you a sense of. We just call this the Brough Room just because, well, it's filled with Brough Superior.
I have to say what this puts me in mind of, though, is watching as you're going over the mechanisms that it takes to ride these motorcycles. I think of Indian Larry's famous quote of he loved the gizmoiness of motorcycles. And as we come along the evolution of modern day motorcycles, they do their best to hide that gizmoiness, and I'm not sure they understand like how drawn we all are to that, how beautiful it is.
Well, that's the fun, I have the kind of bikes, people are not amazed that I got there quickly. They're amazed I got there at all, because you look at it and go, what? You rode that all the way here? I mean, I find modern bikes so fast. I mean, I've got a BMW RR that's 205 horsepower. I've got that supercharged Kawasaki H2. I mean, it is so fast. These bikes are fun because on a modern bike, you got to go 150 to feel like 100.
Yeah.
I need you to go 100 feels like 200.
And I bet it's the experience of the ride too. I mean, it has to be very unique.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is. It is, and it's also the feeling of understanding the vehicle you're driving or riding. I meet people all the time by the side of the road that have no idea why their vehicle is not moving. You go, well, Bob, you're out of gas. Okay. What? No? Is that what it is? Yeah, gas goes in there, I mean, I'm astounded. Most people have no idea how to use a tool roll or something. I mean, to me, when you drive an old bike and it breaks down and you get it home, you feel such a feeling of satisfaction.
Yeah,
like,
look what
that's
I've
some
done.
amazing thing,
The accomplishments off the charts.
Now, are they all currently running? Are all those Broughs in your collection currently running and riding?
They're all running and insured, yeah.
That's incredible.
Everyone. I don't really have myself that doesn't run. I'll show you an interesting bike that's This was called the Baby SS100. This is the Black Alpine 680. This was a model that was made for, let me show you. Can you see it? Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a good looking bike. It's smaller. It's 680 cc's. It's basically a miniature 100. It's got the dual headlights. I mean, nobody was doing that in the 20s.
Yeah.
And it's all black, no chrome tank, overhead valves. Just a cool little bike. It's got the saddlebags in the back there. Got the Brooklyn
That's even
fishtail.
cool by today's standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, they're pretty neat. They're pretty neat. This is a racing version of the 4-cam. This predates the overhead valve. This is the 4-cam. This again, if you take a look, you can see right here. There's your gas. That's your throttle. And that's your air. You need to move those two simultaneously and then move the air one where you feel you're getting the best ratio. My favorite thing on these things is this little oil pump right there.
Yeah.
Now watch. You see when I do this, see it fill up with oil?
Yeah.
I give it one shot to pre-lube it. I lock it down. And then when I'm riding, you count the number of drops. You want about 28 drops per minute. Except you also need to look at the road.
Yeah.
Well,
So again, you have to be a chemist. You need to have somebody
gets a
ride
little
with you all the
tricky,
time to check the road while you keep the bike going.
But if you're doing sustained high speeds, then you'll open that and give it a couple of shots. And that makes it kind of fun.
Consider the condition
right
of the
there.
road too.
Yeah, right.
Because
Golden Shell, officially recommended for Brough superiors, all that kind of nonsense.
Yeah, figure trying to hold on those bumpy roads, trying to make all those adjustments. It would have been a job.
Oh, it still is a job.
Right. So my question, when you go walk up to these bikes to start a new one, does it take you a second to remember what it takes to start all these? Because
of the combination.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, everyone has their own.
Well, you better
little
remember
combination.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, right.
But you figure it out. I'll show you some interesting stuff you guys might like. This is kind of fun. We just finished this. This is a big Merlin aircraft engine, 1938.
Wow.
She runs right here on the stand.
No kidding.
27 liter.
That's beautiful.
What are you going to do with that? Do you have plans for that, or you just wanted to get it running?
No, I just like to run it on the stands. Come here, I'll show you some more bikes. Here, we'll take a walk up here.
Oh, Mark's probably
Just ignore
dying.
these boring cars all around.
No,
don't go boring cars. That's my thing right there.
Yeah, Mark's a car
You
guy.
are in my room right there.
Look at that.
Oh, here's some more. Here's some bikes. Some more
look at
bikes
the
over
Cobra.
here. What do we got there? 26 Harley, 27 Harley JD.
Nice.
There's a 1918 Pope.
Okay, Tom
48 Chief.
Banks
Here
just
is
died.
a bike that's just a delight to ride. This is a 1931 Indian Scout. This is the bike that got famous on the, doing the ovals, the oval of death, or whatever you used to call those.
Wall of Death.
Yeah.
The wall of death.
It is the best handling bike. Here's my 36 Harley Knuckle.
Oh,
Yeah, that's nice.
And this bike has not been tampered with. Well, I think probably maybe back in the day somebody might have changed the color a little bit, but it hasn't been touched in 50 years. I've had it 40 years. There's a 33 Indian.
Wow.
Because of the Depression, they only built about 100 of these that year. There's a Henderson KJ.
wow.
Here's a really interesting Henderson. I stuck this sidecar on here. But this bike is all original. This bike was at the New York Auto Show in 1931. It has reverse gear because it was a police bike. It was put in the showroom of a Harley dealer, and it stayed there until 1948 in the window.
Oh.
When the guy I got the bike from bought it, he brought it home, never really rode it, just put it in his garage, and I got it from him. So
Wow.
it's not a brand new 1931 KJ, but it's a really low mileage bike.
It's pretty close.
I've had it about 40 years. I run it all the time. It's just fantastic. Henderson 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
Come here, I'll show you some more here. Let's see what else we got.
I like the Bronco.
Yeah.
Oh, here you got some. Yeah, okay. You know what this is, right?
Oh my God,
Yeah, buddy.
That's a Ford Bronco.
Boy, is that beautiful. Is that a
That's a
rest?
68 Ford Bronco, but slightly modified because it has
Oh, boy.
Oh my.
that has the 760 horsepower GT 500 Shelby motor.
Wow.
They just came out with. Ford built this for us. See, it says right on there. Can you see that?
Oh,
One
yeah.
of one.
Very
Wow.
nice.
This is not something you want your 16-year-old kid to drive.
No, I'm gonna.
I was
probably-
just
Short
gonna ask
wheelbase
you.
and 760 horsepower. It's not
I
good.
wouldn't want my 16-year-old kid to touch it. Like they couldn't even wash it.
Here's the jet bike. You may have seen this
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yes.
One of my father's favorite episodes of Jay's Garage.
Yeah.
Big fan of yours.
Okay, these are mostly Vincent's here.
Look at them.
Here's the
Just lined
Vincent
up.
I was telling Chris about.
Yeah, this is great.
One day I got a call from an old guy. What happened was I was riding my motorcycle, and I stopped to help another motorcyclist. And when I pulled over, a guy behind me plowed into me from the rear in some kind of chopper, a BS-8 chopper he'd made. And I went down, and the Vincent went down. And after I got out of the hospital, I went on the Tonight Show, and I said, anybody got a gas tank for a Vincent? And this guy called me, and he said, I got a gas tank, but I don't want to sell. I want to sell the whole bike. I said, what do you got? He goes, I got the very first Black Shadow sold. I went, oh, okay. What year is it? He said, 47. I said, well, they didn't really come out until 48, 49. He goes, I know, but I was in England. I was at the factory, and I saw it, and I ordered it. And since I was a GI, they let me buy it. I said, okay, well, give me the serial number. Oh, okay. So he gives me the serial number. So I call the Vincent Club in England, and we run this number, and the guy calls me back. He goes, yeah, that's a lost bike. That bike disappeared. I said, that's what I thought. I said, what was the story on it? He said, some GI bought it named Robert Schuster. And I go, well, that's the guy that called me. I go, that's the guy that called. So I called him back, and I said, how much for the bike? And at the time, it was $18,500, which was a lot of money back in the early 80s. I said, okay. And I said, I'm going to have it shipped out. He goes, how much is it to ship? I said, about $800. He goes, will you give me $800 if I drive it out here from Florida?
No
I
kidding.
said, sure. Okay. So he put it in the back of his pickup truck. 3 days later, this 80-year-old guy pulls in and dropped the bike off. What happened was he broke the bronze idler gear back in the late 40s and then just left in his garage. So this has no miles on it either.
Wow.
And you can tell it's a prototype because the first 6 Vincent built had this, what they call the coffee can speedometer. See, Phil Irving did not want to tell Philip Vincent that he was building an improved version of the Rapide. The Rapide was the standard Vincent we all know. The Black Shadow had an extra 10 horsepower. Okay, so Phil Irving secretly built the Black Shadow without telling Philip Vincent, and he took a speedometer from a Jaguar, this here, and put in what they call this coffee can. So the first 6 had the big giant speedometer, and this is one of those. So it's kind of an interesting story. In fact, my other Vincent, where is it? Oh, here you go. You ever seen one of these?
What
Engine in the front wheel.
Oh no!
What? Okay,
That's
what
called
is
a
that?
Magola. It's a Magola German motorcycle.
Wow.
It's like a
Wow.
radial aircraft.
That's like a real early
You
whizzer.
you just roll along and then it jump starts. Now here's something interesting.
just
If you're a
like-
Vincent guy, that gentleman there. Can you see the guy with the hat on?
Yeah.
Anybody know who that is?
No.
That's Rolly Free. That's
Oh,
the man.
no kidding.
Oh,
Okay, here these are all Rolly's Army shots. There's the famous picture of him
Yo.
going 150 miles an hour. Here are all his trophies.
Wow.
Super
These are all
cool.
of Rolly's trophies. Rolly was a watchmaker by trade. He's also an Indian motorcycle dealer. And I'm sorry, guys, but he hated Harley Davidson. So he was always trying
Good man.
to outdo Harley with Indians or Vincents. And this wall is like a kind of memorial to him. And Phil Irving had been here, who developed it. These are all pictures of these guys.
That is so cool. So amazing you collect all this stuff.
There's Burt Monroe right up
awesome.
there.
Oh, Bert.
Cool.
Now here are two interesting bikes. This is what they call a Series A Vincent. These are probably the rarest Vincent twins. They only built, I think, 75 of these. They used to call this the plumber's nightmare because it had just so many outside oil lines on it. But a fascinating motorcycle to drive. And this is the single cylinder version of it. That's the Meteor. These are all Vincent here. Vincent Black Shadow, Black Shadow, Black Shadow.
Oh, yeah, Black Shadow.
Black Shadow. Black Shadow. Oh, here you go. This is a motorcycle that used to go through my town in Andover, Massachusetts. When I was 13 or 14 years old, this guy would always fly through town and never stopped. And all sorts of rumors came out about the guy, and the cops couldn't catch him. You know, like when you grow up in a small town, it's funny because there are certain vehicles that just become legendary. Yeah. And this is one of them. And 45 years later, I tracked it down, and I got it out here. Now here are two. Here's what they call a Black Knight and a Black Prince. These are Vincents. These are enclosed Vincents. I'm sure you've seen. These are probably the rarest.
I've never seen
of the Vincents.
No. I've never seen these.
Right over here, Munch Mammoth. That is the third Munch Mammoth built. The first one with electric start, hand-hammered gas tank, German, and just what else we got here? Moto Guzzi Bmw.
Well, I'll tell you something I've noticed a lot of, and next time somebody says to me that I got a lot of cords and stuff, I'm going to say, well, Jay has them all over his garage floor, so I'm good with it. Yeah, I like it.
Feel free to use me.
It's making me feel at home right now.
So, Jay, what was your first motorcycle?
My first motorcycle was a Honda 350 that I bought when I was a freshman in college to get around. But this was the dream bike when I was in high school, the X6 Hustler.
Yeah, buddy.
When most vintage motorcycles had 3 speeds and British bikes had 4 speeds, the X6 Hustler, had 6 speeds, and it was a 250, and it just was like, just hilarious to run, but a lot of fun and still pretty quick. Yeah. You could actually take 500 Triumphs and single carburetor Triumphs, trophies and stuff with this thing. It was pretty fast. And here's one of my favorites. This is a Scott Flying Squirrel.
Whoa.
This is 1927 TT Le Mans bike, water-cooled, twin 2-cylinder. Just a fantastic motorcycle. Extremely smooth, powerful, quiet.
Water-cooled also.
Wonderful bike to ride. And there's just, there's all kinds, as you can see, there's all kinds of stuff back here.
Rob Nussbaum is dying to see some Indians.
Some Indians. I love the Indians. So, I don't know. Any questions?
Oh, so much. So, now, do you think, you mentioned that when you were 13 in Andover, seeing that bike go through, do you think that's kind of where your passion for motorcycles started? Or was it even before that?
Well, it's probably before that. I remember being a little kid, and this is so stupid, but my aunt was married to a guy who was a policeman, and he had a 56 Harley. I guess that was the Panhead, right? The classic Dougalide, I guess they called it. Mm-hmm. And it had the 2-piece windshield, with the dark green at the top and the medium green in the middle. And I remember he had on the windshield. You remember those air fresheners where the girl used to be like,
yeah,
and she had like a 2-piece bathing suit, and he had one of those on the windshield. And I went over to look at the bike, and my mother thought I was going to go look at the girl. He goes, get away from that thing. I go, Mom, I want to look at the motorcycle. No, you're not looking at it with that girl on there. Get off here. I said, no, Mom, I was like a little kid, but I didn't care about the girl. I wanted to look at the motorcycle. So that always stuck in my mind, that image of that Harley, when he would pull up and it made all the noise and seemed enormous at the time. That probably set the stage.
That was it.
What do you in your collection, what do you like better, the cars or the bikes? What would be your preference?
Oh.
Well, it's interesting. As you get older, it really hurts when you fall off now. I've fallen a lot. But the last one, oh my God, it really, I'm 70 now. So it's like, oh, geez, I'm not sure how many more years I got to ride. And so I try to get in as much as I can. I like them both equally. When I got started, the fun part was you could put a half a dozen motorcycles in the parking space where a car was.
Yeah, right.
And, the best, at least when I started in this 40 years ago or so, the most expensive, rarest motorcycle was like the cheapest, best car. You know what I'm saying? Because people really collecting motorcycles, what's happened to it now is a lot of the car guys have gotten into it because, what's the motorcycle? What's the Brough Superiors? Are those good? Bob, get me one of those, you know? Yeah. And so the price has gone up, not so much for the love of the bike, but for the collectability of it. And I hate to see that. I mean, it's nice that they're valuable and people are saving them, but yeah, it's like steam cars. I have a lot of steam vehicles, and I love steam. And steam was always cheap because people were afraid of them because they thought they blew up and stuff,
You actually have a steam-powered Indian, don't you?
Well, it's not an Indian. Well, I guess it's an Indian frame. It's a 1902 Knox steam engine in it with a heat exchanger off a Titan missile I got from the Air Force.
Yeah.
It runs on propane. Technically, no, I wouldn't call it an Indian. I think the factory would go, hey, wait a minute, that's not really one of ours.
Yeah.
Kiwi's really mad right now.
Well, it was Kiwi that enforced that Indian thing on me.
Oh,
it was like,
okay. That answered that question.
Look there, mate. That's
I think the frame might be Indian. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a question that I have for you, man. And I thought this the whole time that we got to visit your place that day. What is for you with such an incredible collection and your passion for this? Everyone is on social media right now just going off about that. They all know. What is the one that got away? What is the one that still eludes you?
I buy the story as much as I buy the vehicle. I mean, a vehicle with a great story or a great history is what I find interesting. That's why I like Brough Superiors, because they just have a history to them. Same thing with Duesenbergs as cars. I don't know. I've always been happy with what I have. Just make sure you have enough. That's my experience.
Yeah, right.
But I've never been one of those, I got to have that. I always wanted stuff. I mean, I bought stuff that I thought I wanted. I remember once I wanted when Harley Davidson came out with a cafe racer, what was it, 78?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, the black one. Yep. I said, that's it. That's everything I want. It's a Harley, but it's got some English heritage. It's a cafe. I got to get one of those. So I go down to the Harley dealer here in LA, and I got cash. And I go, I want to buy it. The guy goes, you should take it for a ride. See how you like it. I go, no, that's okay. Let me just buy it. And the guy goes, no. I want you to take it for a ride. I want to see how much you like it. It's going to be okay. I said, okay. So I went for a ride. It was slow. It didn't stop. It was uncomfortable. I hated it. And I said to the guy, you actually talked me out of this. I came in here with cash to buy this thing.
Salesman of the year.
He said, he actually didn't want to sell it to me until I wrote it because he'd had this problem before with it. He didn't want any bad customers, And I said, okay. And so I didn't get it. So that was a case of the sizzle is better than the steak.
Yeah, right.
Because they really weren't very good, So to me, I actually have to ride them and use them to see how I like it, how I bond with the bike, That's why I love those Scott two-strokes. They're so soft in their power delivery. You don't even have to kick it. You just drop your foot, ringing, they're water cooled. Yeah. You open that throttle, it pulls away, and then all the torque is above 3,500 or 4,000 RPM. And then it just pulls, just screams. Yeah. And it's so much fun. So I was never one of those, I got to have it to have it. I have to like it and use it and enjoy it. That's what I like about the Broughs. They're just fun. There's such history in them. And when you ride them, you just feel kind of like, it's sort of special.
Yeah. So all of us just got an education on the Bultaco Astro. I was talking to you about this in pre-show too. Do you have a Bultaco Astro in your?
I don't. I like the Bultaco. Is it Metralia? Is that what it's called?
I think.
The road bike. I was never a dirt bike guy. If I go off the road, it's by accident. I usually slide off the road. Although I've done some off-roading, but I just like street bikes, and I like cafe, and I like road race bikes, and I like the way they handle. I never had a Bultaco. I've got to get a Bultaco. That's on my list. The 250 Ducatis, Dianas. I got one of those, and they're great fun. I love Desmo. I always called the early Ducatis Harleys that went to college in Europe, just because it's a big V-twin. It's 900cc, but it's gear driven overhead cam, a Desmonic drive system on it there. And I always found that fascinating.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. This has really just been a real treat for us, man. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, just to take.
Well, thanks for taking the time. I'm sorry, I'm holding this. I'm sorry, my camera work is so terrible.
Actually, a lot of people have been saying that how humble you are. That actually you're your own cameraman.
It's just
through this whole thing. Yeah, just being a part of it with us.
People also counting the blackheads in my nose.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I could make a humble request, we would love to have you back on the next time you have a free Sunday.
Anytime, we'll do it again.
It'd be fantastic, man.
And let me know when you're out here. We'll get together.
Go to the rock shop.
Yeah, dude.
Rock store.
I was so jealous when Chris said he got to walk through your shop. I mean, in all reality, the bikes are a cool thing. My father, when I was a kid, got me roped into cars and all kinds of cars. When I found out he went there, I didn't talk to him for like 4 days.
It was great.
I was super mad at him. Come out. I would love to walk through that. That would be fantastic.
No, we want him to not talk to us for 4 days.
You see what I have to live with?
If you want to come out, and we'll show you around.
Well, that would be awesome. I appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Jay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. How absolutely cool, right?
Yeah, that's just too much.
Absolutely cool.
I can go home now. Can I go home now?
Cool, right?
He is held down to earth, like super normal.
You can feel his excitement and passion for the motorcycles right through. I mean, he just truly loves it.
Well, that's what I said to you in pre-show the other day, just talking to him. It was only 2 minutes of, for 2 minutes I was like, wow, this is Jay Leno that I'm talking to. And then I got so lost in his stories about motorcycles. It was like,
you forget about it.
No, wait, don't go. Like, no. Let's keep talking. But and he, and of course we have to save some stuff for the show. But man,
he could have.
I think we have to be in California for something pretty soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go to
accidentally end up in California. I hate when that happens.
It's a Chopper Fest this year.
Oh, we'll go to Chopper Fest. Which,
right.
If we don't go to Chopper Fest soon, they may disown us.
Well, listen, we have our next guest waiting in the wings, so we're going to move the show along. But I want to tell you guys again real quick, this is Shop Talk. We're coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. Dennis Kirk, we ship today. If you're a last-minute Larry like me, they can get you them chopper parts in a hurry. We appreciate them helping us bring this stuff to you every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We go live with Shop Talk. We're going to do some real quick business for the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, 2 minutes, with a couple more guests that you're going to want to hear from with more Shop Talk. Hey, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I want to thank you for watching the flagship show of the Source Media Group, Shop Talk. We go live with Shop Talk every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's only one of the many programs we offer from Source Media. In addition to that, Wednesday nights we have a show, Cannonball Chronicles, that looks into the life and times of Cannonball racers as they prepare for this year's Motorcycle Cannonball. Thursday night, we have Bike Night Live that goes into the bike night culture, the food, the fun, the hanging out with people, and we even have some live entertainment. Sunday morning, Cyber Swap Meets kick off, where we have a sort of home shopping network approach to motorcycle swap meets, and we bring guys on that have live parts to sell right there. All of this in addition to our staples, which are Grease and Gears TV, live on the street from the events and rallies, Grease and Gears Garage, Grease and Gears Garage Roadshow. We look forward to bringing more of this type of entertainment to you from the home of Two Wheel Entertainment, the Source Media Group.
Me and Dave have been talking about riding through Texas for years.
Is he okay? You're heading back to the bike now?
Dallas and Houston both are flooded out. It was crazy.
I lived with my sister for a while. She moved back to Texas, and just with my busy schedule, we haven't been able to see each other.
How's ride going?
It's going a whole lot better for me than it is for everybody else.
Yeah.
Denny is traveling probably about 70 miles behind us.
So we pulled into Houston. We have some time to kill because we're waiting for Denver here to show up. What's he doing?
Don't talk, he's got a straight razor on your face.
When I first met Jared, seemed like a really cool dude.
His style is old school, traditional Americana.
Houston has a very big soft spot for realism. We try to be a little different and offer traditional.
Are you crying?
No, I won't cry until everybody ain't looking.
All right, so that's our friends over at Tattoos and Turnpikes, and launched that effort on their own, going the way of the privateer rather than the network deal. Super proud of what they're doing with that. Make sure you tune in. We're going to feature a different teaser from that show every week here, so make sure you're watching for that. Yeah, right. So this week we had an awesome show. In the middle of the week, we just sprung it on everyone. We got together anyone that we could get to speak on Sturgis, because what you guys were telling us was, what's going on? Is the rally canceled? We heard this, we heard that, and we figured if we gathered everybody together, we'd be able to bring you some good information. Our next guest coming up were unable at that time to come on the show, but very quickly thereafter we had many conversations, and super proud to bring in the guys from Full Throttle Saloon, Jesse and Michael. How you guys doing tonight?
You doing?
Good, man. Good. How's it going?
Good. I can't see you on my screen.
We're not getting your video either.
Oh, you're not?
Nope. We got Jesse, not Michael.
You got me?
Yep.
There we go.
Can you hear me? This is Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. All right.
So, Sturgis, the vote is coming up tomorrow. That's what we're looking at. And the fact that people on the street didn't actually know what this vote was going to mean, what was happening out there, we were compelled to try to put this show together to bring more information. But tonight specifically, we want to talk about Full Throttle, the official campground of the rally, and, absolutely a destination in its own. So we want to know directly from you guys, what's the plan?
We're having a rally. I don't think it's been any. There's not really been any debate about the fact that everyone concedes that there's an incredible amount of motorcycle enthusiasts coming to the Black Hills to celebrate the rally. And, as far as we're concerned, we're excited about the fact that, we have 600 acres out there that everyone can social distance their ass off as much as they want to, and as much as they can, as much as is personally responsible. It's a situation where I think we've had enough polarizing events happen in 2020. And I think we should focus about what we can do. And what we can do is everyone that's coming to the rally this year can have a great time, respect each other, and enjoy the Black Hills of South Dakota.
Man, and that's so great to hear you say that too. Yeah. And I got to tell you, like, coming into this thing, I expected there to be a real dogfight, and it really didn't seem like anybody is that far away from each other's issues and perspective, so I'm not sure where all that came from. I'm glad that we got to bring some info to the street, but I'm even more glad, like Sturgis, this is where me and my wife got married. This is where, the last 20 years of our lives are all wrapped up. It's really important to us.
This is the Mecca of the Super Bowl, pretty much.
Actually, we have to seriously step back though, and I find that motorcycle enthusiasts are the most charitable, big-hearted, give you the shirt off their back individuals. And I'm proud to say I feel like I've hugged just about everybody that comes to Sturgis because of all of my travels throughout the year, and on the concerts that we play, and all the radio station events that we do, and the charity motorcycle we ride that we do for the veterans, and working with the VFW organization, and just there's just so much that that we feel such a good spirit from the motorcycle enthusiast. And I really don't anticipate that anyone's going to turn this about a polarizing, plus again, South Dakota is open for business. The governor has been very proactive about supporting the state getting back to normal. Mount Rushmore's kicking. You've got President Trump's going to be speaking up there on July the 3rd to about 8,000 people. Disney World is open. Busch Gardens is open. NASCAR just opened today and had some spectators in the crowd. We got the state fairs. I'm playing some state fairs this year that are game on. I mean, there's a lot to celebrate right now. And at the same time, being respectful. I mean, it's not just Sturgis. Every city in this country is having to be torn between doing what they feel is right for their citizens and right for their businesses, because a lot of businesses, especially in Sturgis, won't survive if they don't have the rally. So it's a tightrope to walk. And really, let's just don't get caught up in it. Everyone that's coming, let's just respect guidelines that are out there, and let's be that charitable-minded, great example of what America's all about is. And I'm not saying that in a hokey way. I find that people that ride motorcycles now are about the last of the Mohegans when it comes to respecting each other, having different opinions, and still bellying up to the bar at the Full Throttle Saloon and having a drink together.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I mean, really that the issue of personal responsibility comes up again and again and again. And I feel like for the most part, you see that a lot in the motorcycle community. You know, we're very aware of our personal responsibility to ourselves, our motorcycle, the condition of the road, and it just goes on and on from there. But when it comes to community, especially, like you said, most charitable people that you'll run across, you know, so I don't. Yeah,
and I don't think this should be any different. I mean, it's all about respecting yourself, respecting others, and being accountable. Yeah. And, you know, and that's it. And if you're afraid, if you have that fear within you, then please do definitely stay home.
Yeah, right.
But for those of you that want to go celebrate the 80th and celebrate your love of motorcycling with your fellow moto enthusiasts,
these businesses
go do it and have a great time, please.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, I know we'll be there.
Yeah, there's so much that's already been said and discussed, and again, the city of Sturgis will decide what level it's going to participate tomorrow night. It's, you know, again, you got to respect a town that's got citizens that are polarized themselves. But again, we're coming, and nobody's coming with any ill intent other than to respect guidelines that are laid out and to enjoy riding in those Black Hills. And let's talk about what we can do. Wait till you see the property. It's so beautiful out there. You know, the Pappy Hole campground, we're sitting right beneath Bear Butte, and it's that sacred Native American mountain. It's incredible to wake up in the morning and look at that mountain. We got a herd of antelope that hangs out up there on the backside of the mountain that you can catch it, especially early in the mornings. We got 1,000 RV hookups, 300 campers. And then we've got, it's an incredible facility, and that you can totally get out there and find your space. And then the Full Throttle Saloon. I mean, wait till you see what Mike. Tell us about. Have you guys seen that tap line he's got? How many beers you got on that tap line, Mike? Is he on there with us?
I don't know.
I just asked him to unmute again.
Just to get people.
Can you hear me?
Right,
yeah, there he is.
Yeah. So we got 72 beers on tap.
Holy.
So
that's incredible.
He's built beautiful lines out there, and inside the bar. You know, when you walk inside the bar, you know, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's a tribute to what made America great. And Michael had a big decision to make. I mean, you know, everybody knows that the original Full Throttle burnt down, and that was Michael's life. And I watched my brother just have to swallow that such a creation that was just unduplicate. I mean, you could not duplicate that ever again in a million years. And to Michael's credit, he didn't try. And he wanted to celebrate what makes America great. And I got to remind you, this was pre-Trump. Okay. Yeah. This was pre-Donald Trump, where Michael was saying, I want to celebrate what makes America great. And he went out and he got all these turn of the century machines,
for the
industrial evolution period.
It's so cool.
And he built all these bars around it and such. And nobody will ever know. I mean, we took that property, the $10 million worth of ashes, no more Full Throttle Saloon, and a lot of hurt feelings because there was no insurance. There was no insurance to collect. And to Michael's credit, again, we bought that property down there at the Pappy Hole campground, and in 90 days he brought the most amazing structure up out of the ground. And it every year it just gets more and more and more, to be its own animal. And it's really worth coming to see. I mean, it's truly an amazing attraction right alongside Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse and Devil's Tower. It's a cool thing to come and see.
Well, you know,
and even beyond that property itself, like you mentioned, Bear Butte being a sacred place, that property has such an amazing feeling to it, and it's got such a soulful vibe. Chris and I actually got married on that property at Hot Rod Lake 5 years ago this year.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, we're about. I know that they had a thing called Chapel Hill out here that they had before. Jay, is that where you guys got married at, or?
No,
we actually set up right next to Hot Rod Lake, and we got married there.
So here's the story. The first place that I ever shared a kiss with my lovely wife was inside the building there on an old shoe shine stand. So they literally let us drag the shoe shine stand out by the lake, and we had our ceremony right there by Hot Rod Lake.
Wow. And you know what I think would be a great idea would be for you guys to come out this year, this anniversary year, and we'll renew your vows right out there by Hot Rod Lake, which is looking really beautiful right now.
Right on.
And keep in mind, we called that place home for 7 or 8 years. Yeah. We woke up, like Jesse, like you said, Bear Butte. I mean, that place has an energy of its own, and would wake up every morning. Me and Pat Patterson many times have found ourselves in the middle of the night up on that mountain, up on there, feeling every bit of that. So that place has a really strong place in all of our hearts. That's a great piece of property you guys have.
It is a spiritual place, no doubt about it.
Yeah, very much so.
It's amazing to sit and watch it throughout the day out here. I mean, you can, and how it changes, because unless you sit and watch it, you won't realize it. But that mountain, it's like it changes throughout the day.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And these storms will blow out of the hills, out of the Black Hills, coming up out of the hills. And it's so wild because that mountain will split them storms in half.
That would be the separator, And that's what I'm saying. It was so awesome to sit there and watch not only the people all at that mountain, but to be there and be a part of being able to feel it and rising that property up out of the ground was a great feeling for all of us.
Well, we're gonna be having a good rally this year. We got our lineup set up. We just announced Kenny Wayne Shepherd on Friday. And so Kenny Wayne Shepherd will be here on Monday during the rally, which is August 10th. And we got Colt Ford on Sunday. Of course, Jesse's on Thursday night on 20. This was 21 years for them on Thursday night of the rally that they've been playing.
The Bikers Ball.
Congratulations.
Yeah. The Bikers Ball.
Right.
So, hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Forgive me. I've got years of loud rock and roll. So if I'm speaking over someone, please forgive me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think it's important too, because we haven't really had time. We haven't done a lot of interviews where we've had a chance to just relax and talk about the rally with someone that's as knowledgeable about it as you guys are. And I say that sincerely because I've watched you guys carry the torch for making sure that there is a rally. I mean, that's the most important thing this year, that with all the adversities that America has went through, this year that we do have a rally for all the people that have made the commitments to make a 1,500 plus mile trek from anywhere to come out there and enjoy the freedom of riding in those Black Hills in a state that celebrates the freedom. And regardless of where you're staying, we really do want you to come by and visit with us at the Pappy Hoyle Campground, and you got to see the Full Throttle. But I'd like to take a minute, if I may, and let's talk about where this rally came from.
Yes.
And the rally came from a picnic that started, actually 82 years ago, because it was 82 years ago because they had to skip because of the gas rations. Pappy Hoyle and Pearl couldn't host a picnic with the war going on and gas rations. But other than that, Pappy never decided not to have it, and he was just the founder of this thing. And so we respectfully named the campground after Pappy. And Michael has been how long have you been friends with the Hoyle family, Michael?
Well, that's ever since I came here 21 years ago.
Wow.
And I remember, I got to tell you this story, guys. Michael called me up and he says, I've been out hanging with Jack, and we were talking to Pearl Hoyle today. This was, when Pearl was still alive. And you just had Jay Leno on. I believe Pearl Hoyle was actually on Jay Leno's TV show before, right?
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, yes, she was.
I think she was. And so that's a really cool connection there. But Michael called me up and he goes, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, "What?" he said, I've been out hanging with Jack because, you know, Jack's one of our dear friends. We always have him on stage with Jackal every night just to acknowledge that his family and his dad, mom, you know, he was in diapers when they had that first rally. And Michael calls me and he goes, I'm out there and I'm looking at Pearl's roof, and the roof of her house is in such bad shape. And he goes, I got to do something about it. She's been so incredible for this rally. She's been so incredible for bringing notoriety to Sturgis and all the Black Hills with everything, the picnic lunches she used to make for the picnics that they'd throw, the hill climbs and such. And so Michael actually put a roof on her house out there. And the relationship just grew stronger and stronger all the way up to this day where we love the stories that Jack tells. He's a piece of history. And we just love hearing the stories of the early rallies from Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, that's we did a thing one year in Sturgis when we used to do a thing back in the day called Rally TV. And the premise was we walked up and down the street just grabbing any odd person and said, tell us how the Sturgis Rally got started, and we'd stick the microphone in their face. And
the stories.
Some of the, and not to rag on anybody, but you'd hear everything from, well, I guess Daytona got too big to, this. No kidding. But that's why it's important though to do shows like this and sit and have talks with guys like you that are directly connected to that history and reinforce that, because there's 3 generations solid. Yeah. that are in play right now in this thing, and to deliver that message over and over again, reinforce it, reinvigorate the core of what makes this a special and great thing. That's the gig, man. You know what I mean? And
and you have to be so passionate about it too. I mean, there's the other end of it.
Yeah.
Like listening to you, Jesse, and even me, Chris, and Heather, as many years as we've been going there. I mean, for Christ's sake, my truck knows how to get there on its own now. You don't even have to plug it into the effing GPS no more. It just shows up. But it means something to us. A lot of people, you're not going. Dude, we'll be there whether or not.
No matter what.
And again, just like you and Michael, Jesse, we're coming there to give people that show up a good experience and give them something to see. And that's so awesome.
Well, we're business as usual at the Throttle. We got 3 stages of music and my hat's off to Rod too. But coming from one concert promoter to another to Rod Woodruff at the Buffalo Chip, it's been a tough year for any concert promoter across the country, and every band and every musician across the country this year. So for venues like his and venues like mine to be able to just keep sticking it out and making it happen and riding it out and putting forth the best foot we can put forth. It's venues like his and mine and all the campgrounds. And I'll say this, I've said this my whole ever since I've been here. It takes every 10 by 10 mom and pop beef jerky stand downtown to the baddest prevost semi tractor trailers and motorhomes. That's what makes this rally. So it's everybody and everything. And my hat's off to everybody in the Black Hills and Sturgis and around this community I hear a lot of times, I wish I could work 2 weeks out of the year. Well, just follow our front.
Kiss my ass.
Right.
Yeah.
And, there's the people that have no clue what it takes to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough business.
The logistics, and we were talking about it the other day, the logistics behind this, and like you were saying, for Rod and for you, and even for the little guys, is got to be so. I mean, you're putting a lot out there. It's not a few bucks. You guys are really laying your shit on the line, and taking a chance.
And another thing you got, and the smaller guys too. I mean, listen, I've got my vendors are. I didn't even make them pay yet. I just come down here. If you make some money, you can pay your rent, because I know you haven't had any rallies all summer,
right?
And they're hurting to even try to make it out this year. So I just told them, just show up, have the rally. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, just hope you'll make enough gas money to get home. But we're all gonna be in it this year, and we're gonna have a phenomenal rally, and the Black Hills are waiting for everybody out there to come ride them.
Hey,
absolutely. And I think this year,
Rick Arneson is in. He says we're with you, Iron Horse Campground on the other side of Bear Butte.
Absolutely.
There you are.
We got all the small campgrounds, all the big ones. I mean, it takes everybody to put this thing on. It's not you can imagine taking, you take 500,000 people and stick them in a town of 6,000 people. I mean,
right. You said it perfectly before. The little beef jerky stand. It does. It takes everybody.
Yes,
like all these
absolutely.
people pitching in, make the party.
That's an example of the of the ownership that everybody takes in this rally, because because it's a dedication for every year to make that trek up there, or for every year to get that facility ready. And for the winters are hard up there, and as soon as the snow melts, you've got to rebuild everything on your property. And it's something that if you don't have that passion for, just like you guys have got a passion for the show and talking about, whether it be the old motorcycles or the lifestyle and the spirit of freedom that we all still, we love and we guard it with our life, if you will. But again, we want to make sure that everybody lifts each other up. And I think that over the years, it's taken everybody, having that respect for each other. Yeah, there's always a healthy competition, and yeah, there's some things said here and there about whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody in the Black Hills goes without respecting each other, and the fact that we all lift this up and we all have a big piece of heart in owning this rally.
No, and Jesse, even for us, man, I mean, almost 24 years into publishing this magazine, we have 2 events in Sturgis, just 2 of them that we do throughout the week that are over 15 years old.
Yeah,
our ride and our bike show in Sturgis are over 15 years old, and for us, we don't do that because like we're going out there slinging entry fees or anything. Everybody gets to ride for free. We give them lunch for free. We we let them in the bike shows for free because it's such an honor. Like to be a kid from back assward Pennsylvania and to have been able to do my own event in Sturgis the first time, and then to look and over 15 times now, it is such an honor for me. Like that's my lifetime achievement award. That place means that much to me.
When you're part of making somebody's memories, the part that they may have saved for 5 years to go to Sturgis one time, and they took that day and spent it with you, that's worth all of it right there.
Heather, you just hit on a very, to go back and be a little bit redundant. I mean, the commitment that it takes for these individuals that have weathered, especially this year, to have weathered through the adversities that they've weathered with pandemics and marches and riots and just in election year politics. God almighty, the politics are just ripping everybody apart.
Yep.
And it's like it's gotten everybody conditioned where you could say an apple's red and everybody wants to take a different side on arguing about it. And I'm just begging everybody, let's don't argue about what's going on with this rally. There's thousands of roads to ride. There's the beautiful Black Hills, Fairview over at our place. There's Deadwood, Devil's Tower. We do a ride every year on the Wednesday, a Pappy Hoyle charity motorcycle ride that we donate a portion of the money to a local Sturgis charity or the fire department or various organizations. And then we also donate some money to the VFW. The VFW is their partners of ours, and we really love the guys at VFW. They have an unmet needs program, and very proud to be working with those guys. And we'll be doing the Pappy Hoyle ride again this year, and we go up to Deadwood and have a sack lunch in the spirit of what Pappy and Pearl used to do with creating their sack lunches. But again, it's a mutual respect everybody has for each other, and it's going to be a great rally.
And you brought up a point there too that people need to keep in mind also. Like they're worried about the social distancing and this and that. Like you said, there's so much riding to do out there. You almost don't have to concern yourself as much as the social distancing. Get up, go check out the stuff, man. There's so many places. Get lost. Go get lost somewhere for 8 hours one day on your bike. There's a million things to do out there without even being around people. That's the greatest part. And that's something you don't get at any other event either.
My God.
Like, this is the greatest thing.
And I think this year, for me, Sturgis, because so many of the other events have been canceled, is almost, it's going to give people back that sense of freedom. The people that do choose to go, it's going to give them that freedom again, that they can go and they can do what they've worked
they
so
need
hard
it so
to do.
bad right now. They need it so
and
bad.
it's going to renew hope in everybody, and it's going to make them want to participate and want to make those memories. And at the same time, while they're there, they're also helping a community. And every penny that they spend out there, whether it be at a campground or the beef jerky hut or Full Throttle or Iron Horse, anywhere, they're helping to save that community. Because when the rally doesn't happen, it's not an economically strong community to live in.
Yeah.
So everybody that goes there, find your freedom, restore your hope, and save a community. I mean, that's why we go.
Well, it's game on, and again, we're gonna make sure that we follow every guideline that we need to be following, and we're also going to make sure that we do everything we possibly can to make sure everyone has the greatest experience, and that they want to come back again and again and again. We wouldn't have made the investment in the infrastructure that we've put out there. I mean, when you come and see the property, it's just something we're so proud of. We got that Olympic-sized swimming pool, and we got the restaurant up at the main building up there, and we've got a firing range where you can shoot 50 caliber guns and Uzis, and we bring in cars and vans for you to blow up. And
hey guys, can
you hear me? Yeah, you're on.
Hey, I just got a text that Jack Coyle just passed away.
Oh my God!
Shit!
Like just now. That's why I split off of here for a
Oh
second.
my God!
I haven't talked to anybody, but I did just get the text right now.
That's horrible news.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm gonna jump because I need to make some calls, but that text just came through.
Yeah, let's all just take a minute here and have a moment of silence for that. That's very, very sad news. Wow. Unbelievable.
He
was
with
so
the
precious.
family
and all of his loved ones.
He was so precious last year. I brought him out on stage, and we had thousands of people in front of us at the Full Throttle Saloon, and Jackal was on stage, and I brought him out, and I said, Jack, what do you think about this good-looking crowd tonight? He said, I remember back when I was a kid, we got excited because we had 300 motorcycles show up. He goes, now there's 300 bikes just in this little section right over here. He was such an interesting wealth of history, and it's so sad, man.
I'm so sorry.
It's just something else
sorry.
to make 2020. 2020's been a rough year.
Yeah, yes, it has.
We got to find something positive in this year, guys.
Well,
Amen.
That's what we're going to make.
The positive thing is that we're coming to Sturgis.
And we keep going. And
you guys have it set up. We're going to spend some time with you out there. I know we're always there for the bike show that Steve Burles is involved in on your property, and we usually make it out for a night or two with some bands and stuff, and we can't wait to get out there and spend time with you. And from now until then, I'm going to invite you on behalf of everybody here on the show, please get us your up-to-date information. As much stuff as you guys have going on, we're going to bring it out here. We're going to Deadline with the magazine. It'll be on the newsstands for the entire month of July leading up to the rally. We go to Deadline with that Wednesday. If you guys can get us any event information, we have eight pages put aside to get information into that issue for a pre-Sturgis issue so that we can make sure people know what's up.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And congratulations on you guys. I mean, you're really leaving a stain out there on everything you're doing. And it's great that Dennis Kirk is supporting you guys and keeping you out there so you can let everybody know what's happening. It's great to have a conduit in this industry. And this industry needs something to bond it together. So more things like this is necessary. And we look forward to seeing everyone out at the rally come August 7th through 14. And again, every municipality is making guidelines and making decisions. Let's not be overly concerned about other than respecting the guidelines. Let's just focus on what we can do, and we're going to have a rally.
Amen. Amen, Jess. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank Michael. And once again, we want to send out the most heartfelt prayers for the family and everyone that knew, Jack Coyle and the whole crew there.
God bless Jack Coyle. Guys, I appreciate you so much. Have a great night.
You too, Jesse.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you. I can't believe that just happened.
How sad.
Really is.
And again, there's another, like we're saying, to keep that tradition alive, to keep that going.
The whole time we're having this conversation, the words of Jay Allen echo through my head. There will only be one.
Yep.
And this year there will only be one 80th anniversary of Sturgis.
Right. There will
and now not only will there only be one 80th anniversary in Sturgis when we walk around defiant of COVID chasing us away from our freedom and living our lives, this will be the rally where we all come together to remember this man.
Right.
You know,
that
so
helped put this rally where it is
there
today.
will only be one ever. So.
You know, and it's so strange. I mean, like we're talking to Jesse and Michael, and again, all of us being what we brought and what we created on that lot right there. I mean, remember the Limp Nicky stuff.
Oh, my God.
And the crazy things that we did in that lot. But in all reality, what that lot did was brought us all together and really started this this wheel in motion. A lot of good stuff happened on that property up there.
Yep. Well, listen, man, it's almost hard to finish out the show tonight with the news that hit us just there. But what a fantastic show. We have a couple pieces of news. I'm not going to make a real big deal out of this because we're going to wrap the show up. We'll hold some of this stuff, but there's a few things to talk about. If you didn't hear me at the beginning of the show, I'm Chris Callen. I'm from Cycle Source Magazine. I'm your host here every week on Shop Talk, coming to you from the Dennis Kirk Studios, 50 floors below the street level at Cycle Source Magazine headquarters. This is Shop Talk. Every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go live with some interviews, some entertainment. Whole thing usually starts off with a little program we call the news. No, really, the news. Oh, Chris. So one of the things we want to get to for sure tonight is Monday is Ride to Work Day. How superfluous that Monday is Ride to Work Day, and this is the big vote day in Sturgis. But let me talk to you about this because I had the honor of, and this is coming in obviously from motorcycle.com, I had the honor of co-hosting Open Road Radio the other day, and we got into a pretty substantial conversation about this with Merlin Stemp and what he was on, and you know, the purpose of Ride to Work Day. It's nice to say, hey, it's Ride to Work day, let's everybody get out and, you know, and ride your motorcycle, but really, this is so everyone around you can start counting the motorcyclists that live among us, right? You know, for legislative purposes, for conditions of local, state, and federal roadways. It's important that this one day a year, a strong initiative that we stand up and let our neighbors and townspeople know that there are motorcyclists in among them, and our needs and consideration has to be paid respect. So that's the biggest one that I wanted to get to. I mean, there's a few other items in the news that we can probably. So
tomorrow's ride to Work Day.
It is.
Do you think we can get all my tools on your dresser? Can I borrow your bike?
Listen, we've done. I'm not even going to get into some of the shit that we've done with a dresser that included 6 people, a keg of beer,
and a cop.
So next up in the news, the Barber Vintage Festival announces 2020 dates. Barber Motorsports Park announced dates for their 2020 Barber Vintage Festival. The festival will take place October 9th through the 11th and include activities such as vintage racing, swap meets, off-road, trials, and stunt shows. Tickets are on sale now by visiting. Heather's going to put the link up. Barber Vintage Festival is one of the most highly anticipated motorcycle events in the world. The 3-day festival features the fan zone with commercial vendors, concessions and entertainment, a swap meet with hundreds of vendors selling vintage motorcycles and parts. The Barber Vintage Motorsports Museum also features extended hours as well as seminars hosted by celebrity guest speakers. Don't mess this
That's
one
on my
up.
list.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would like to go there this year.
Every year that we have someone else cover this event, it damn
but
near
I think
kills
this
me.
year we should. It's the week before Biketoberfest, so we'll be kind of in that area.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I'm done with that.
Super fun.
This, I almost feel like, do we have, damn it, I don't have my batshit crazy news pre-roll loaded up. And this
God.
Really?
Dude, I hit him today with.
You don't have a button?
I hit him today with.
I don't have a button.
Hell, a Megator.
But
thing.
I can say this: batshit crazy news. How's that? That'll do for the time being. So yeah, here we go. Harley-Davidson patents self-balancing gyroscope for motorcycles. It's entirely enclosed in a touring motorcycle's top luggage case.
They say they're doing
Wait.
For older riders.
Yeah, I need to reply to Poppy. Don't worry, I'll never tell. So you're good.
You guys are ruining my opportunity here. Let me start over. It's entirely enclosed in a touring motorcycle's top luggage case.
Is my phone ringing?
Okay, I had to have my moment. Harley Davidson has a lot of work to do if it's going to successfully transition from its current path of best-selling but waning heavyweight cruiser-style motorcycles into segments that attract younger customer base, including...
Was there an echo in here?
I don't know. I was just trying to get down with that. According to Cycle World, Harley's patent describes a heavy flywheel spun to 10,000 or 20,000 RPM by an electric motor. The entire assembly would be mounted on a gimbal, allowing it to move with... They stole this from Michael Lichter.
You stop.
They stole the whole idea. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. Michael, if you guys don't know, Michael, like the way he gets those amazing riding shots is he uses a motor-driven gimbal device, and it offsets the motion of the camera and the whole deal.
Are you done yet?
So, yeah, I mean... I can see some of the point about...
I don't know. You know something? I have trouble trusting things on rails, let alone the self.
Well, and here's my thing. Last week there was somebody on here, and they were talking about adding extra electronics to a motorcycle, and I said, look, just on principle, I don't do it, because the more gizmos I add to a motorcycle, the more apt I'm going to be sitting my ass on the side of the road. I would trust the engineers of Harley Davidson to be a step ahead of what I can do myself. So,
if they made a plane, would you fly in it?
I think today I would. I'd fly a Milwaukee 8 plane. Hell yeah, I would.
That may have been one of their biggest selling T-shirts. You know, I'll bet.
I'd fly a Milwaukee 8 plane.
No, well, if Harley made a plane, would you fly in it?
All right, man. Listen, we're going to wrap this thing up because this is going nowhere in a good way, and I can see Heather shooting us the dirty looks from all the way across the room. So with that in mind, I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. What a fantastic show. We're going to pull this one into the station. It's been an incredible week, and it's because of you guys. Terribly, terribly honored on one end of the show to have a fantastic guest with the ultimate garage like Jay Leno. On the other end of the show to get the very sad news and have the responsibility to deliver that information to you of the loss of Jack Hoyle. Until next week, you guys get your plans together to do something with your motorcycle. Go out and live your life. You know, you only have one. That was the motto, right?
But is it you only live once, or how's that go?
You don't get a do-over.
You don't get a do-over.
You only
That's
live
it.
once, or you only die once. Which one is it?
So for all of us here in the Dennis Kirk studio, I want to thank you guys again letting us into your headspace. And until next week, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.